What's up, guys? Welcome back to the second video in career mode. The first video was very disappointing, I know, because I just got done filming it. In fact, this is the screen I left you on. Oh, and something else just exploded. Great. So, the problem with that one that we did was we re-entered way too fast. We went way overkill on how far we went above the atmosphere. We didn't need to go that high. Because we came screaming back in at well over 2,000 meters a second, weren't slowing down, and we were coming straight down, so we had no time to bleed off that velocity. We just came just straight down, just like I said. So one of the things, pretty much the only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to see in aerodynamics, we don't have a heat shield yet. So I'm going to keep the hammer booster. I got rid of the hammer booster up top, so this is going to make it so much lighter. And I'm going to put a few more fuel tanks in here so we can fire this flea engine towards the top, because I just hit revert, so we still need to do the two contracts I was working on last time. So we have a crap load of fuel tanks now for that liquid fuel engine, which is fine because we got rid of that hammer engine. So we still need to do the flea engine test, but I'm going to do it towards the top of this 33,000 meters and probably close to 400 or 540 meters a second. We'll see if that does it. So we're going to put the throttle to full and launch it. And we're just along for the ride while that SRB burns. That's a problem with the space shuttle, by the way. If the SRBs, or if they had to abort, for example, like you'd think, well, shut off the engines, stop going up, right? Like if you need to abort, you need to come back down, stop going up. Well, those SRBs, you had to hold on to those things until they were burned out, and the red fuel tank you couldn't really ditch until it was pretty much empty as well. I think mostly for aerodynamic reasons was the red fuel tank, but the SRBs you had to hold on to them. Oh, I didn't have SAS on. Come on, help me. Help me. There we go. What we can do a little bit is tilt it, I guess, and that'll help with the re-entry a bit, but I'm not too much worried about that anymore. But anyways, yeah, you couldn't really, I think it was for aerodynamic reasons, was the red fuel tank, but the boosters, they would just keep going. I mean, if you try to ditch them, now you've got this huge fire shooting at you as they go past. So, you can try to keep this right at 540 meters a second, so that way when it does burn out. Oh, shoot. I'm just worried about if we burning the flea engine at 450 meters a second at 33,000 meters. I just don't want it, I want to get like the maximum out of this, so I want to get it to be as fast as we can go without, avoiding. Oh, that was so stupid of me. Why did I do that? Oh, I'm an idiot. At 32,000, we'll launch the flea engine. There, we've done it. So we've completed that contract, and I think we're going to get fast enough to punch through the atmosphere. Let's turn it. And let's ditch that. Alright, so now we're just waiting. Hopefully this is enough to get above the atmosphere. I turned it a little bit to help with re-entry. If that becomes a problem, I don't think I should have, because that robbed some vertical velocity, and I'm worried about oh, it looks like we're going to make it. Yeah, we're going 1,000 meters a second at 60,000 meters, you guys. We're totally going to make this. Definitely. And we've got... Yeah, no problem. I should have actually tilted it over farther then, probably, to help with some of that re-entry. It's just, it's how much math you can do. I'm saying the exact opposite of what I said a second ago, that I tipped it over too much. Now I'm saying I didn't tip it over enough. So if it becomes a problem, we'll tip it over some more. But look, the last time we re-entered, we were going over 2,000 meters a second, and we're going, by the time we actually start slowing down, by the time this needle starts getting into this kind of darker, or this lighter blue, we're gonna probably top out somewhere around 14 to 1,500 meters a second. And I think the capsule can handle that even without a heat shield, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, we're just gonna sit here and wait. I don't want to time warp, because when you time warp, it generally makes things worse. See, there's the plasma coming off of it, those heat trails. It generally makes things worse for survivability. But we are going straight down, and we're not slowing down at all. Okay, now we're slowing down. Watch the G meter. Let's see how fast we can slow down, because that's a big thing. You need to slow down quickly if you're coming down 15,000 meters. Holy crap, slow down. Jebediah, slow down. Okay, look at all those G's we're pulling now. Okay, so at like 500 meters a second, no, it's got to be like 200 and something meters a second, right, when I can deploy the parachute. So I'm going to keep, oh, shoot. Okay, well, now we're down to, I think it was 260. I'm going to bet it was 260 and deploy it right now. Oh, come on, deploy. Slow down. Jesus Christ. Oh, okay, well, I don't want to kill Jebediah. Alright, here's what we'll do. We're going to tilt it farther. So I can't believe we're on the second video of career mode and I'm still working on this stupid contract. Alright, but let's go again. I'm just going to tilt it a little bit more this time, and that'll help with both the speed of re-entry and it will probably help with this precision of the flea engine. So let's just start it tilting right now. Just off to the side, just a little bit, get some lateral velocity starting to build up, just gently. Alright, so we've got this booster, which literally all we needed was to boost us to that first stage of flight. Now the liquid. And this is much more controllable, obviously. It's really hard to control the SRB with what direction and stuff it goes. So I'm actually going to throttle this back a little bit. We had to ditch it way before it ran out of fuel the last time, so not worried about it. The most efficient thing is basically to burn it hard, because then you've got more thrust first of all, so you're picking up speed quicker, and that's compounded, but then also less fuel every second, you know. So as far as I know, the most efficient way to burn an engine is to go full throttle all the time. So if you do have to throttle it back, you're losing efficiency, but that's okay, because I'm not worried about running out of fuel in this case. So let's let this thing slow down a little bit. It's got to get to 540 meters a second. And we're going to launch this thing at like 32,000 meters, the flea engine, to do all this. There, it's 540 meters a second. So we'll leave the engine on a little bit to keep us up towards that. Tilt it over some more, help with some of that re-entry. Okay, and there. Okay, we've done it. We were just inside the 33,000 meters. And we were super high last time, so I'm going to go ahead and tilt it over pretty aggressively this time to help. Oh, maybe that was too much. I don't know. I always think it was too much, so we'll see. But we're going up at 1,000 meters a second right now, and we're at 50. So we should clear the atmosphere, no problem. Again, I'm always worried that it's too much. So we're going to time warp up out of the atmosphere, and there's the atmosphere, or top of the atmosphere. So now we're going to time warp even faster, and hopefully by going sideways, we've been able to. We're going to be able to bleed off some of that. We're gonna basically, if you're going through it at an angle, you're going to have to go through more molecules of air, which will help you slow down, is the idea. We're going, it looks like a little bit faster than last time, which makes me nervous, but we're also slanted, so hopefully that helps a little bit. Right now we're going through more air than we were before, and it looks like, nope, we're still speeding up pretty aggressively, actually. Pulling 0 Gs right now, which means if you're in the gravitational experience, influence of the planet, and you're pulling 0 Gs, it means you're actually, accelerating pretty quickly towards the planet. So we're gonna pull the parachute a little bit earlier this time too, because I think that was part of it. The parachute did deploy, but it was just too late. Didn't have time to slow Jebediah down, and we were over land, so we're going to get a little bit extra leeway here, being over water. So it looks like what we can do is do this. So it's unsafe. As soon as it hits safe, I'm going to... There. Hopefully we've got... Oh, is it still time warped? No, it's not. It's just wobbly. Come on, open. I'm going to turn SAS off. That might be part of our problem. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Couldn't have done it better if I tried. And I did try quite a bit. And now we're just waiting for it to float down. We've got 150 meters to go at 5 meters a second. Little parachute. So we probably could have done it with one less liquid fuel tank, which is fine. So we're a cover vessel. And we're probably not going to get too many funds back. We got 34 science, though, or plus 8 science on this one. So in the last couple, we've gotten 34 science somewhere. We got the command module and the parachute funds back, and we got 11 funds from the monopropellant. So that's good. And Jebediah, no XP gained. We have a reputation of 61 now. Alright, so I'm kind of tired of this video already, but it's because I've been recording for 42 minutes because I didn't take a break between the two videos, so I'll keep going. So haul the M6 parachute into flight above Kerbin. It just needs to be flying between those two altitudes and those two speeds. That makes me nervous. We could orbit Kerbin. We could probably do both of these things. Okay, so we're going to deploy this parachute, and we're going to orbit Kerbin. The big ones. well, orbiting Kerbin is the big one. Let's go to the Research and Development Center and see if they've made... Heat shield, yes, 15 science, definitely buying it. Perfect. And stability, what do we have? 19 science. This would take 20. Shoot. That's alright. What is this? Radial decoupler. We're gonna do that. We need that for this. Okay, orbit Kerbin. So we're gonna basically do a core of... We're gonna get rid of this flea booster on the top. No need for that. So we're going to put a booster on the very bottom, just as you see here. Oh, heat shield, duh. Definitely want a heat shield here. So the only thing that's coming back in is this. Winglet, aerodynamic thing, rocket engines, fuel tanks, that's all fine and dandy. Do I have any controllability? No, doesn't look like it. What is this? Landing strut, so I need to take this and the radiator panel. Interesting. Let's do, let's see, tolerances. Safe deployment at 424 meters a second. This one's 260 something, so let's definitely do these. Let's do 2 of them on this bad boy there. That'll just help if we do come in a little hotter than expected. I think one. Let's do just a few more tanks just to be safe. Oh, here's what we could do actually. We're gonna leave it with 2 tanks and do another engine, which is probably inefficient for weight, but for what we need to do, that'll be okay. So there's that decoupler. Now we're gonna put this stack of tanks back on with its own engine there. I'm liking it, because each engine, if you don't have to haul the empty tanks, it's more efficient, so hopefully this will help. Let's do some radial decouplers. Let's do 3 boosters down here. And we're going to do hammer boosters. Yes. Cool. Alright, now let's do some aerodynamic stuff. We're going to keep this thing pointed straight with this winglet. Yes, I love it. Basic fin. Does the winglet... Nothing really known about this. Use at your own risk. Great. So let's... What was I doing? Oh, aerodynamics again. We're going to put a hat on the boosters. Alright, let's see how this thing works. Check our staging first. So we're going to fire those 3 and fire the hammer booster as well. Let's leave that. We're going to fire these 3. Ooh, we're going to get sneaky about this. We're going to fire these 3, and then we're going to fire... Then we're going to ditch those and fire this one at the same time. And we'll ditch the hammer booster and fire the liquid fuel, and then we decouple that liquid fuel, then decouple that, and she's coming back into the atmosphere. We're going to deploy the small parachutes first. That can handle more. They can handle 200... Can't support vessels of over 30 parts, so we're going to have to go and upgrade our launch pad. I think we've got enough money to do that. 282,000... Oh, just barely. I'm hoping... I didn't even look to see... Oh, max vessel size unlimited, max vessel weight unlimited. So right now, it's got to be more than 30 parts, I'm hoping. Does it say down here? I'm sure it said... I thought I remembered somewhere down here it said how much... how much the launch pad could take. But, alright, so let's launch this thing. A vehicle assembly building can't support parts over 30 vessels, or vessels over 30 parts. And I don't have money to buy it, because I just spent all my money. Alright. Let's see how many parts this thing is. 31 parts. Okay, so I'm just gonna take off the hats. We don't need the hats. That's fine. You can't afford to launch this vessel. Oh, because I spent all my money on this stupid... Oh, okay, this is not good. We can probably orbit Kerbin without these. And then we don't need these. And we won't need that. Alright. Perfect. So, it'll boost. Let's see if we can get into orbit with this thing. I'm not very optimistic. We might have to rework it a little bit, but that's okay. So we're just along for the ride while this booster gets us up here. We can tilt it a little bit with the reaction control wheels. I think it's reaction control wheels in the module there. In the command module. That's what's steering us right now. We don't have any control over the SRB. Okay, and fire the liquid engine. Okay, we're cooking along. We're doing great. I'm not sure this is going to work, you guys. Yeah, I think because I did end up, I put another fuel tank on, but then I put 2 for the top engine, so I don't know if it's actually going to work that well. What are our orbit Kerbin? Oh, we've got to deploy this parachute on the way back. We could probably do that. Okay, there's 15,000 meters. So we're kind of above the heavy part of the atmosphere. So let's get this thing turning a little bit more aggressively. I'm worried that this is not going to have enough fuel. Let's see what our apoapse is right now. If it's above the atmosphere, we're going to be cooking. It is. Just barely, though. So, oh, my mouse is starting to not work for some reason. That's frightening. Not a good time for it. And I want to keep efficiency, so I'm going to actually shut this engine just off until I can do a full burn. And I think right here it's okay to do a full burn. So we're just going to watch our orbit, make sure it doesn't get too out of control. Because the most efficient way to do this is probably at the apoapse. Yeah, the stupid mouse. Alright, so we're going to just ride this thing up to the apoapse, and hopefully we can orbit Kerbin. Oh, now we can't deorbit. We're not going to have enough fuel to deorbit. Alright, back to the drawing board. Let's see if we can put 2 SRBs on the side of this thing. And we can put them down there with the other hammer. We don't even have to... Oops. We don't even have to do the decoupler thing as long as they're coming, because it'll come off with the hammer one on the bottom anyway. Alright, let's try this. Okay, so we've got enough funds to do this. This should be fine. SAS, full throttle, go. Okay, this is looking much better. It's going to give us a huge head start on the actual orbit. Probably 3 times the head start if I'm going to be perfectly blunt about it. Maybe even more than that. I'm worried that it's going to ruin our MK16 parachute at the top there by aerodynamic stresses on the way up, because these are very powerful. Look at that. They're almost out of fuel, though. Perfect. We'll ditch them right. Now. Start turning this thing over a little bit. Get some... Oh, up. Work with me. It was overbanking there for a second, so I had to go full deflection the other way to just get it from stop to stop turning. But we're 45 degrees up right here. Let's check our apoapse. 34,000 meters, so it's coming along. And we're above the kind of thick part of the atmosphere that worries me a lot, so we'll go ahead and tip this thing over a little bit more aggressively, start the actual orbit. We got some heat trails there, so I'm going to stop doing that. It's 48,000 meters. We got to keep this thing going. We'll go full power again. Keep this thing coming up. And trying to outrun the curve of the planet too, basically, at this point. I'm going to get this thing up here. Come on. Alright, the apoapse is officially out of the atmosphere. Let's just keep it swinging along, though. Let's see how that does. We can finish the orbit burn once we're at our apoapse of 94,000 meters. So plenty of room to screw up a little bit. Alright. We are... Come on, baby. Out of the atmosphere. So... I'm still at time warp, that's fine. Alright, we're going to give this thing a little bit of thrust. And come out here and watch. Oh, it's most efficient to do it at our apoapse, so I guess I should just wait until we're there, which is right... Oh, right about there. Oh, that was close. Alright. Let's see if we've got enough delta V in that engine to get us into an orbit. Nope, I think it just burned out. Yep. Okay. So let's try with... Let's give this top engine a few more fuel tanks. How many funds do I have? Doesn't say there. What about here? No, no, no. So I'm sure there's some way to... Oh, right here. What was so expensive about it? Oh, the stupid mouse. Come on, work with me. Are these boosters must be hugely expensive. Oh, that's why. Because this... It's not... I'm looking at... I found the cost down here. This mouse is driving me nuts. I found the cost down here. And the reason... I was like, wow, that's not anything at all. But it's because I didn't have it attached there. So how much is one of these boosters? Okay, so we can do 3. We can do 3 of these boosters. And I gave it 1 more fuel tank up here. So let's do 3 of these boosters and launch that middle one separately, because I'm worried that 3 boosters or 4 boosters all firing is gonna destroy it. So, but we did 3 boosters last time and it was okay. So let's get this thing hauling. Let's go up and up and up. There's 100 meters a second already. I'm liking this. I'm liking this, you guys. Starting that turn already that we talked about. Get it away from that launch pad. In real life, this is what you do, so that way if it does come back, it doesn't blow up the launch pad. Alright, we'll fire that middle engine there. And it's not enough. The single engine is not enough to actually pick up speed, which bothers me a little bit, but it is putting some energy into the system, so I think I'm going to leave it for now. It looks like our speed is leveling off. Now it's starting to pick up speed again, so overall I think that helped us more than hurt us. I really hope. We'll find out. And there we go. So that was mostly basically just delaying. It added a little energy into the system, but it was delaying how high we had to launch this thing. So I think that'll give it a bit more fighting chance to get up into orbit. Starting that pretty hefty turn. I'm at 45 degrees at 20,000 meters. I think this will be okay, because we definitely need to keep coming up high at this point. But the key is basically the most efficient way to get into orbit is go exactly sideways. If you get a foot off the ground and go exactly sideways, from what I understand, that's pretty much the most efficient way to get into orbit. Because you don't really need... If you go straight up, you're going to come straight back down. So, I mean, I'm sure there's... They call it... Oh, now I'm sounding like an idiot to people who actually know what they're talking about, I'm sure. But I'm sure there's some happy balance between straight up and sideways. Because if you go directly sideways, you're at a super low orbit, and that's the highest speed orbit that you could possibly be. Is a low one, is low Earth orbit's high speed. But that doesn't necessarily mean highest energy state, I guess. All right, let's get this thing up here. As I'm trying to get into a low orbit here, so obviously I'm kind of practically going with the information that the lower orbit's a lower energy state and thus easier to get into. I just need to barely get into orbit, just to fulfill the contract there. But I'm in space, so we'll give it the beans. Going directly sideways. Alright, let's wait till we're at the apoapse. And we'll fire the engine again, and hopefully we can get into orbit. Turn this directly sideways, directly at the horizon there. Full power. And let's see if this thing is able to... Probably not, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe. Nope. Definitely did not. Alright, we're going to give the top stage 2 more fuel tanks. I hope I can do that affordably. Or with the amount of money that I have. I think so. These fuel tanks don't cost much. Yep, we're still under. And I'm going to launch the middle rocket engine at the same time now because we have this extra fuel. So hopefully we'll stay slow enough with those 3 engines burning. It won't be too big of a deal. Alright, now let's go. Now we weren't... by lighting that middle engine, I gave us way more thrust than I gave us weight by adding those other fuel tanks, so it definitely will go faster than the last time. I'm not saying that it was exactly even, but hopefully it will not destroy anything is what I'm getting at. Okay, we'll hold on to him for just a second. Now we'll go ahead with the launch there. There, I think we done did it. I think this one's gonna work. Yep, we are picking up speed. I was worried that we weren't there for a second, but I guess with this engine and this many fuel tanks, it's just... It wasn't picking up very much speed there for a second, was what I was worried about. But there's 20,000 meters, so we're above that, you know, super thick atmosphere. We're still definitely in the atmosphere, so we can't get cocky yet, but we're getting there. So I'm tipped over to 45 degrees. We're burning out of liquid fuel rapidly. Let's see what our apoaps is. 56,000 meters. Hopefully this will get our apoaps to above 70,000 meters. I think it will. It didn't look like that was too much of a stretch. Yeah, see, it's already 70,000, so I'll just shut it off for now. And we'll ride it up. Yeah, 75,000. Alright, so let's get this thing tipped over and start to burn it this way. So if you lose too much speed, then that's just speed you have to pick up again. So it's not super great for efficiency to leave something not burning for a minute. Unless you're just riding it up to apoaps for more efficiency, which is now what we're doing. We've got more fuel tanks, so I'm really not too concerned about... I mean, I am a little bit... Let's see. Let's see how it does. 84,000 meters is our apoaps. We're at 73,000. There's... We'll light the candle at 82,000 meters. That'll be pretty much apoaps. Alright, let's get it directly this way. And 82,000. Fire it. We'll come out here and wait. And this will get faster. Hopefully the circle will get faster and faster. We'll get bigger faster and faster as the fuel burns out too. Come on, baby. How much fuel do we have left? Ooh. I'm not super liking it. Just have to worry about stupid parachute on the way down. There. Achieve orbit. That's exactly what we did. So we're going to go to the apoaps again and pull this hopefully down just into... Oh, we've got very little fuel. That's fine. So we're going to go to the apoaps, and by the time we get to apoaps, we should be at a perfect retrograde orientation to fire that rocket. And we're going to fire the rocket pretty much until it runs out of fuel, just to bring it down into the atmosphere as much as possible. So we've got that heat shield, so I'm not too worried about burning up. A little bit worried. Not too worried. Alright, that was the camera view. That wasn't actually the rocket that flipped. So keep that in mind. Oh, that might be a little steep. We're about to find out. I'll put the rocket into the wind, and that will burn up first, and then the heat shield will start taking the brunt. But we're at 2,100 meters a second. I don't think the heat shield's going to take a huge beating. But I am going to time warp it until we start getting some heat trails, because it's boring to just sit here and watch a dark screen. I should have done that. I didn't think there was going to be enough fuel to put it into the night side. I thought we were going to be coming in on the day side. Come on, click, you stupid... I need to get a new mouse. Alright, it'll probably burn up before it does anything else. Yeah, because we're coming down pretty steep. Look at that, 1,000 meters a second down. Well, probably closer to 700, 600 or so. And we're finally starting to slow down, right? Now it's starting to tick backwards, so... Yeah, that liquid fuel engine's probably not going to make it. Which is fine. It's just cannon fodder. Or heat shield fodder, I guess. Should we decouple? I'm worried that decoupling is going to, like, crash into the balloon. Alright, so now we've got just the heat shield into the wind. So we need to slow down a lot. And quickly, because between 1,000 and 9,000 meters we need to deploy the M16 parachute, not even the little parachutes. And we've got to do it below 190 meters a second. So this thing okay, there's a high G deceleration force. Okay, there's 9,000, or, well, here's 10,000, and we need to get to 9,000. Oh, shoot, I'm really worried about this, guys. Okay, we'll deploy those. Slow down. Okay, and there's one. As soon as it gets to 190, I'm deploying the M16. Okay, we have officially done both contracts. And we'll cut these parachutes, because now we've got the M16 out there. We don't need both of them. That was just to slow us down from high speed so we could deploy the M16 parachute. Now we're going to time warp it to the ground. Probably deployed the M16 a little fast. Probably didn't need to do that, but I was just so worried about getting that contract done. It's now taking 2 videos to do. Well, I guess this video we were still trying to finish up the last contract with the flea booster at the certain altitude, and now we're finishing up this orbit contract. So that's all right. Took a while, but I think we've got it done. All right, let's time warp it to 1, recover the vessel, see what we've done. Jebediah had better gotten some more experience. We better gotten some reputation for this. We went to orbit, dang it. Plus 10 science. Probably could. I'm gonna start putting that goo thing on there so we can get more science. But we recovered a lot of funds, 340 funds, and gained 1 XP. So he's got a 1-star pilot now, plus 0 reputation. We've got 99 reputation. Cool. Alright, well, we are going to call this done, because I am tired. I've been recording for almost an hour. So hopefully you guys have liked this video, and then the video previous to this, where I did the other, where we launched the first vessel and got the first crew report, and then we tried to do the flea booster one. So I'll probably practice a little bit more in my other file with the sandbox thing, and so that way I can come in here and we can just do it without having it. You've seen real time trying to figure this out. And if it wasn't for recording, I probably would have just ditched. You know, it's kind of fun to play around and see. It's like especially with that flea booster, we had what, freaking like 3 or 4 hammer boosters. I mean, it just got ridiculous, but it was just kind of fun for me. So hopefully you guys had some fun too watching this. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for part 3 of career mode KSP, hopefully coming out next week.